Xavier, it's Miss Spencer. I'm going to make these videos for you so you can follow along with the packet and see what we're doing in class. But if you ever have any questions or it's too confusing, don't worry. I'll answer questions either over email or a phone call, or we can always figure this out once you get back. So don't stress. We're going to start with Module 4, Lesson 4. So starting with the do now, I'm going to help you with this so that you can kind of see what we did yesterday in class. If the division expression is 4 divided by 5, remember our dividend, which is our first number, is going to go on top, and then our divisor, which is our second number, is going to go on the bottom. So we have 4/5. We know 4/5. Well, let's see. There's nothing in front here, no whole number. So that means there's 0 holes. So 0 holes means that if we were drawing a number line and we had 0, the next number would be 1. We want to split this into 5 equal parts. That's not very equal, but equal parts. And we plot it on the fourth point, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can see that our point is between the numbers 0 and 1. So we would say that 4/5 falls between 0 and 1 on a number line. You don't have to draw the number line, but this is just to help us visually see where 4/5 would be and between which two whole numbers that would be. When it says written method, that just means we're going to use partial quotients, which we haven't done for a while. So 4 is going to go inside our division symbol because it's the first number, it's the dividend. Then we're going to put 5 on the outside because it's the number we're dividing by, it's our divisor. Ask yourselves, can we multiply 5 by anything to get close to 4 without going over? The answer is no, can't multiply anything, so we're going to put a 0 here. 5 times 0 is 0. When we subtract 4 minus 0, we have 4. So we know our answer is 0, remainder 4. And when we want to write that as a fraction, the 4 would be our numerator. And then the number we divide by, the 5, is our denominator. This will make a lot more sense when we have a whole number. So we need to make a mixed number, which we'll be doing with 8/5. So now let's move on here. We have 8/5. Our numerator is going to be our first number here. So we're going to be doing 8 divided by the bottom of the number, or the number on the bottom, which is the denominator, is going to be the divisor, which is the second number here. So since 8 is on top, 8 goes in the front. Since 5 is on the bottom, 5 goes second. So 8 divided by 5 equals 8/5. Let's make this to a mixed number because we can see that the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So we have 8 divided by 5. Well, we know we can multiply 5 times 1 to get as close to 8 without going over. 5 times 1 is 5. When we subtract, we have 3 left over. So our quotient is 1, remainder 3. And if we wanted to write that as a mixed number, we'd see the 1 is our whole number. So we're going to put the 1 in front. 3 is what's left over. So that's what's going on top. And we had divided by 5. So that's what's going on the bottom. 1 3/5. So we know 8/5 is equal to 1 3/5. If we were to plot this on a number line, we can say it's a little bit bigger than 1, and the next number on a number line would be 2. We're once again going to split this into 5 equal pieces. That's better. And now we're going to plot 1 3/5. So 1, and then we're going to go over 3 places. 1, 2, 3. And we can see that 1 3/5 falls between 1 and 2 on the number line. So between which two whole numbers is your answer? 1 and 2. If you need to pause this so you can write this down, that's fine. I'm going to keep moving on, but feel free to pause anytime. So next one, we have 14 divided by 10. The 14 is first, so we're going to put the 14 as our numerator. The 10 is second, so we're going to put 10 as our denominator. 14 divided by 10 is equal to 14/10. Let's see, if we were to do division to figure out what this is, a mixed number, we put 14 in the middle, put 10 on the outside. Well, I know we can multiply 10 times 1 to get us close to 14 without going over. So 10 times 1 is 10. We subtract, and we have 4 left over. So our answer, or quotient, would be 1, remainder 4. We can write this as a mixed number. The 1 is in the front, so we're going to have 1 whole. 4 is our remainder, so that's going to be our numerator. And then we divided by 10, so we're going to put a 10 here. So 14 tenths is equal to 1 and 4 tenths. If we were to draw this on a number line, we know it's a little bit bigger than 1. The next number on a number line is 2, and we would split this into 10 parts. And then we're going to plot this on the fourth line, so right about here. We can see that our dot is going to be falling between numbers 1 and 2. So our answer is going to be 1 and 2, that 14 tenths is between. Once again, you don't have to draw this number line. I was just doing it so you can visually see how we got 1 and 2 as our answers. Finally, we have 5/12. We know 5 is on top as our numerator, so it's going to be the first number we write. 12 is our denominator, so that's going to be the second number that we write. 5/12 is equal to 5 divided by 12. Here, if we were to write this as a division statement, see, can we multiply by 12 by anything to get close to 5 without going over? No, so we're going to put a 0. 12 times 0 is 0. Subtract, we have 5 left over. So our quotient or answer to a division problem is 0, remainder 5. So let's write this as a fraction. We have no holes. 5 is going to be our numerator because that's how many we have left over. We divided by 12, so that's our denominator, 5/12. We know that 5/12, let's see, there's no holes. So that means that our first number is going to be 0. 1 more than 0 is 1. We'd have to divide 0 and 1 into 12 equal parts. And now we're going to plot this on the fifth point. We can see that this 5/12 is between 0 and 1. So between which two whole numbers is your answer? Between 0 and 1. Once again, I know we went through that fast, but if you want to pause, you can. If you've been able to keep up, that's great. We can move on. So our objective today is that we're going to be dividing fractions by whole numbers. We can do this by drawing a model, writing an expression in words and numbers, and checking our answer with multiplication. I know that I met this expectation when I can answer 4 out of 5 items correctly on the exit ticket. So let's start with guided learning part A. Aries has 1/2 of a pan of brownies. He evenly splits the brownies between him and his brother. What fraction of the pan of brownies will Aries have? Let's see, I know he's starting with 1/2 of a pan of brownies. It says he's gonna split the brownies. So let's see, that means we're like sharing them evenly between himself and his brother. So I can see that's 2 people. We wanna know how much one of those people or one of those persons gonna get. So I see that we're starting with 1/2. We're trying to split up the brownies. We're not trying to split up the people. So I know that we're going to be starting with 1/2. Splitting means division, and we're splitting this brownies between 2 people. So we have 1/2 divided by 2. So let's draw a model to help us. We have our rectangle. We're going to split it in half and shade half of our rectangle because we only have half of a pan of brownies. This model represents half a pan of brownies. I'm going to change colors so we can see us splitting this. So if we have half a pan of brownies, we know that half of that is going to go to Aries, and the other half is going to go to his brother. We want to know what fraction of the pan of brownies Aries is going to have. So here, I see that Aries is going to have, because remember, shaded is how much brownies are left. He's going to have 1 portion out of 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So Aries is going to have 1/4 of the pan of brownies. And you might be asking, why didn't we say 1/2? Because if you are seeing here, what fraction of the pan of brownies, not what fraction of what is left of the pan of brownies. So out of the entire pan, Aries is going to be having 1 portion out of 4 equal parts, which would have been that full pan of brownies. If you don't understand, that's okay. We have 5 that we're going to do together, so don't get nervous. Let's try part B. Naz has 1/2 of a roll of yarn. She can make 3 bracelets with this amount of yarn. What fraction of the roll of yarn will be used for each bracelet? So let's see, I'm going to change colors. I don't really look red. All right, so she has half of a roll of yarn, and she's going to be making 3 bracelets with this. So I see that we're starting with 1/2. That's what we're splitting up. And I can see that she's using the same roll to make 3 bracelets. So to me, that's saying that she evenly needs to be sharing or distributing this roll of yarn. So that means we're going to be dividing, and we're going to be making 3 bracelets with this. So let's start by drawing a picture. We have our rectangle to represent half a roll of yarn. So if we're only starting with half, we should shade only half of the roll or half the rectangle. I'm going to change colors here. We're going to be making 3 bracelets. So we can label them bracelets A, B, and C. So I'm going to give this top one, this portion is going to be made for bracelet A. This middle portion of the roll of yarn is going to be made for bracelet B. And this last portion is going to be used to make bracelet C. So I can see for bracelet A that Naz is going to be using one portion out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts to make up the entire roll of yarn. So here, Naz is going to be using 1/6 of the entire roll of yarn to make each bracelet. Part C. Sharnandi has 1/2 a box of books. She evenly distributes the books between herself and 3 friends. What fraction of the box of books will each friend receive? I see she's starting with half of a box. She's distributing, so that means sharing evenly. So we know we're dividing between herself and 3 friends. So in total, 4 people are going to be sharing these books. So I know I'm going to be dividing by 4. Let's start by drawing that picture again. We're going to split this in half because her box is only half filled. Now we're splitting this between 4 people. So we're going to cut this 4 ways. This first one's going to be for Sharnandi. We'll do the next one for Xavier. The next one for Miss Spencer. And the last one for Miss Kessner. All right. So here we can see that Sharnandi is going to be receiving 1 portion out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. So out of the entire box of books, Sharnandi is going to be getting 1/8 of the box. Now I want to show you a little trick. We started with here, we had 1/2, and you don't have to write this down, just watch. 1/2 divided by 2, we said was 4. Oh, I'm sorry, 1/4. Oh boy, let me erase that. All right, so we said that 1/2 divided by 2 was 1/4. 1/2 divided by 3 was 1/6. And 1/2 divided by 4 was 1/8. Let's see if we notice any patterns that can make this easier for us. What the class noticed today was that 1/2 divided by 2, if you look at the denominator and the numerator, if you were to multiply them, that seems to always get the denominator of our answer. Same here. Our denominator was 2. If we multiply that by 3, we'd get our denominator of 6. Here, if our denominator is 2, we multiply that by 4, our denominator is 8. So one way that we can look at it is as a trick to make sure that we're right, including drawing the picture, we can see that 2 times 4 is 8. So we're going to be getting 1/8 of the entire box. Let's see if that works for this next one. Eliab has 1/3 of an apple pie left. He evenly shares the pie with his cousin, not his cousin Xavier, sorry, I changed it for your name, but with Xavier. What fraction of the pie will Eliab have? So Eliab has 1/3 of the pie. He's evenly sharing it, so we're dividing between one other person, so himself and Xavier, you. So we're dividing by 2. So if our trick was right, our answer should be 1/6. 3 times 2 is 6, and our numerator is 1. Let's see if that works if we were to draw the picture. So here we have thirds. We're going to shade 1/3 of it. And now let's see, we'll use blue. We're going to cut this between 2 people, one for Eliab, one for Xavier. So that means Eliab is getting 1 portion out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So Eliab is getting 1/6 of the entire pie. So our trick does work. Let's try one more together. Marone, Nura, and Naomi are evenly splitting 1/3 of a bottle of soda. What fraction of the soda will each girl get? So I see that we have 3 people that are splitting 1/3 of a bottle of soda. Evenly split means that we are going to divide. And so now we need to think, are we splitting up the people or are we splitting up the bottle of soda? Well, we're going to split up this bottle of soda. We're starting with 1/3 of the bottle of soda. So even though the 3 girls were listed first, we're splitting up the bottle of soda, so we need to put 1/3 first in our division problem. We're going to divide by 3. If our trick is right, we know that 3 times 3 is 9, and our numerator is 1, so 1 stays the same. Let's draw a picture to see if we're right. We're going to split this into thirds, shade 1/3 of the entire piece. We're going to split this into 3 parts, 1 for Marone, 1 for Nura, and 1 for Naomi. We can see that each girl is going to get 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. So 1/9 is correct. All right, Dylan, Jefferson, Jessen, and Robel, so 4 people, have a 1/3 of a bag of Takis they are evenly going to split for snack. What fraction of the bag of Takis will each friend get? Well, we're not splitting up the people, we're splitting up the bag of Takis. So we're starting with 1/3 of a bag of Takis. It says they evenly split, so I know we're dividing by 4 people. Our trick tells us that 3 times 4 should be 12, and our numerator is 1, so it's going to stay the same. Let's draw a picture to make sure we're right. We're starting with 1/3, so we're going to start by shading in 1/3 of our rectangle, and we're splitting this between 4 people, 1 for Dylan, 1 for Jefferson, 1 for Justin, and 1 for Robel. That means each person is getting 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces. So the fraction that each person is going to receive is 1/12 of the entire bag of Takis. So guided learning 2 is what we just did, but we're just doing it in a table instead of using word problems. So here we can start 1/2 divided by 2. So we're going to start by drawing a rectangle, splitting it in half, and now we're splitting it into 2 groups. So we're going to cut it in half. We can see that 1/2 divided by 2 is 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. 1/2 split into 2 pieces is 1/4. Let's try the same thing for the next one. 1/2, I'm going to shade one portion of it. So we're starting with this because our first number, our dividend, is 1/2. And now we're going to split this into 3 groups. We can see that we're getting 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1/6 in each group. 1/2 split into 3 pieces, because we're dividing by 3, is 1/6. All right, last one. 1/2 divided by 4. We're going to start with 1/2, shade in half, and now wrong color. Let's cut this into 4s. We can see that each group is going to get 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. 1/2 divided by 4 is 1/8. So 1/2 split into 3 parts or 3 pieces is 1/8. All right. Now instead of 1/2, we're going to do 1/3. Same thing, we're starting with 1/3. So we're going to split this into 3 equal parts. Shade one of them. 1/3 divided by 2 means we're going to split this into 2 parts, or 2 groups, I should say. That means, each one is going to get 1 portion out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts. 1/3 split into 2 pieces is 1/6. All right, 1/3 divided by 3. We're splitting this into thirds, shading one of them. Now we're going to divide by 3. So we want to make 3 equal groups. Let's see, each group is going to be getting 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. 1/3 divided by 3 is 1/9. So 1/3 split into 3 pieces is 1/9. Last one, 1/3 divided by 4. We're going to start by drawing 1/3, shading one portion of it because we're starting with 1/3. And now we're going to divide by 4. You can see each group is going to get 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 parts. So 1/3 split into 4 pieces is 1/12.